Sixers. I bet you didn't think you'd ever see me make another Sixers video. Well, at least not for a while. I am on record talking about how I felt about other Phillies sports teams. How the Phillies, well, let's back it up a little bit. How the year where the Phillies were in the World Series, the Union were in the MLS Cup, and the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, and all three lost like back to back to back. And boy, was that disheartening. Because could you imagine the reverse where all three of them won? Boy. But the Phillies, and we'll make this short and sweet, the Phillies had made it to the mountaintop plenty of times and just fell off. And now this year, they are an abysmal shell of themselves. The Eagles, we don't know what's going to happen to them. Some of these draft picks look okay. And, you never really know if somebody will be a bust or not. So that's more to come. And then the Sixers, right? The Sixers were notorious for being great, good to great, all year long with Embiid. He gets hurt. They don't have him for the playoffs. They're one and done, right? So we get matched up with the Celtics. And I'm thinking to myself, oh boy, here we go. I think there's even the comparison that the Philadelphia 76ers are like the Cowboys of the NBA. They'll get you there, but they're one and done. They're out of there. So I've said, I'm not going to really get excited about the Sixers and anything they do because they just end up disappointing. It's the same thing. They'll get to the playoffs and they'll disappoint. So I figured, okay, Boston is going to run them. Boston will win it out 4-1 or something like that, or maybe 4-2. And it started to look like that. It really started to look like that was going to be the case. But they rallied back. And Embiid in the playoffs. Paul George and Maxey, and winning this first round obviously is not comparable to winning the NBA championship, but it's a nice thing to have as a 76ers fan, right? Again, I am a fan of every Philly sports team. The Phillies, even though they stink right now, I'm a Phillies fan. The Union, the Flyers. The Flyers are doing good. They beat the Penguins and moved on to the next round. You might get some Flyers content out of your old man. You might get some Flyers content. I think they're playing the Hurricanes right now. Last I looked, they were down 3-0, but it's only the first game. So anything can happen in that series. But you might get some Flyers content. I don't think the Flyers have won the Stanley Cup since the 70s, if I'm not mistaken. But it'd be great for them to step up. But the 76ers are now moving on to the next round. It'll be even better if they can progress further. If Embiid and everybody can relax a little bit, don't take game one or maybe even game two and push themselves so hard that they re-injure or re-aggravate things that are ailing them, and so that they can preserve themselves for maybe a deep run. Maybe, am I too optimistic? I need to swing back real quick to the kind of fan I am. So Flyers, Union, Phillies, Sixers, Eagles. Whether they win or lose, whether they're 0 and 188 or 188 and 0 for baseball, and so on and so forth. And the term bandwagon fan, in my opinion, doesn't apply to me. Now, I know some people might say that, but here's my opinion of how I like to be a fan and where I think is smart. I like to be a fan that engages with the team when they're performing well, and I disengage with the team when they're not performing well. Not that I disenfranchise myself for them or that I cast them aside. If anybody asks me, how's my team doing? I'll say, oh man, the Sixers stink right now, whatever sport they're talking about. But they'll still be my fan. I'm still going to rock the colors. I'm still going to be, Philadelphia to the core of me, to my bones. But if you notice anything in business, what's the one thing that gets any business going? It's numbers, right? If your viewership is low, if your attendance is low, if your merch sales are low, if all the things that surround your franchise is low, owners are more likely to make changes and to do things to appease the fans and to become competitive than they are if you just blindly follow them like the Cowgirls. The Cowgirls have zero incentive to change a thing. Although this year, you leave you kind of scratching your head. They look like they're actually doing some stuff. But let's take the 30 years prior to that. As long as the fans are cheering, as long as they're buying merch, as long as attendance is high, as long as there's money flowing, there's no incentive to change it. Why rock the boat? What's the point? I'm going to be rich whether I win. I'm going to be rich whether I lose. It's no point. But when that money starts drying up and when all your deals start falling through and everything starts happening negatively to affect the bottom line, then they start looking like, oh, I got to do something. I got to stay rich. I got to do something. So the way that I do it is like, okay, I'm not going to buy hats and t-shirts. I'm not going to go to games. I'm not going to watch it on TV. I'm not going to do this. All the different things that would support giving them money. If they're not going to do right, if they're not going to be serious, if they're not going to explore their potential beyond one and dones and failing miserably, then there's no point in me supporting it with my money and my time. Time and money are both things that money you can get back, but time you can't get back. And those are the things that franchises and businesses care about. So if you care about me, 76ers, do better. Get past this next round. Make a deep playoff run. You don't have to win the championship, although that'd be nice. I'd love to go to a 76ers parade. I think that there are progressions that are fine for the 76ers, where they make a deeper run, and I'm like, okay, let's build on that. The next year, let's go a little further. It's harder for the Eagles because the Eagles, 2 out of 4 years were in the Super Bowl. So you expect like Super Bowl or nothing out of them with Jalen and crew. I don't know how I feel about them this year with the new coordinator and everything that's been going on. Well, we'll talk about Eagles later. There's been a ton of stuff, but I'm not really a gossip type person or I don't know what you call it. I can't chase every headline, but I have been watching everything with the Eagles, and I'll get to them. But this isn't an Eagles video; it's a 76ers video. I'm happy. You see me here. I'm talking to you. They did what they needed to do, right? And the Celtics were really no pushovers. They're the second seed. Well, they were the second seed. They're gone. They were the second seed. So it's not like they just beat bums or they skated by. They beat a good crew that just took the Sixers for granted. I think it was 109 to 100. 9-point lead. I mean, I only need 1 point in any sport that I'm watching. As long as we have one more point than the other team and we win, I'm good. But 9-point victory, nobody thought we could do it. At work, they were like, your Sixers aren't going to do it. You really think you're going to go to game 6 and win? And you know what? When I said, somebody said that to me at work, I said, not only do I think they're going to game 6 and going to win game 6, I believe they're going to win game 7. I believe the momentum has shifted to the 76ers. They go, oh, no, you're crazy. And this was 2 games back that they were saying that to me. And I was like, no. I mean, I maybe foolishly thought that they were going to do it. And here we are. They did it. So hats off to them. Hats off to the 76ers. Let's see if we can get into that next round and do the same thing. Get some good momentum. Get some good offense and defense. And that's where they really stepped up in these later games, where they played both sides of the court really well and hustled. You got to have that hustle. You got to have that hustle. I'm excited for the possibility. I'm trying not to psych myself out and get too overjoyed by what may or may not take place, but I'm happy that they were able to overcome the Celtics, and I'm looking forward to making more videos and talking more about them if they can continue this momentum and go on. And then we'll talk about the other teams, the Flyers and everybody else as things progress. If the Flyers can get past the Hurricanes, ooh, definitely making some Flyers content. Definitely making some Flyers content if they do that. And the Eagles, we'll get to them. I'm thinking, unless like the sky falls, I probably won't talk about them until June 2nd. My theory is if AJ's there June 2nd, that he's staying. If he's gone, then obviously he's gone. But we'll see. We'll see with them. But again, 76ers, appreciate you. Me and the grandbaby were hyped and dancing around that you guys were able to pull it through. And best of luck to you in the next round. See if I can make some more 76ers content. All right. See you on the next one.